I'm Terry David Mulligan, and this is, once again, Mulligan Stew, CKUA Radio. We're talking to Alberta. In this, we're also podcasting, and Bruce McCullough has joined me again. And the last time, hello, Bruce.
Hello, Terry.
The last time that I talked to you in that bedroom at the Hotel McDonald, that we were sitting on the bed. Never mind.
Yes.
I said to you, listen, when you do this Kids in the Hall get together, reunion, whatever, and we're doing our interviews, please bring anybody you want, just don't bring the diva.
Well, and Mr. Thompson, unfortunately, we have with us today.
Is he here?
Oh.
In the room?
Remember, enter laughing. What were you saying? Enter laughing.
Just that you are the soul and the heart of the Kids in the Hall, from your point of view.
Oh, good. Right time.
Hello.
Nice to see you, Terry David Mulligan.
Thank you. We are still upright and breathing. It's astonishing.
Where are you?
I'm in what used to be a barn.
I thought so.
In Mill Bay, Vancouver Island, and somewhere just behind me are the stalls. But it's a great place for a studio.
Oh, cool.
You are where, sir?
I'm also in a barn.
Thank you.
They call it a condo, but it's my bar. I've turned it into.
Go finish, Scott.
No, just to say, it was a condo, but after 6 months of being here, everything I enter eventually turns into a barn.
That's good. That's a worthwhile joke. I'm glad I paused for that.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say I'm in a submarine, so if the sound is weird, you'll know why.
It is weird. Thank you so much. Well, it's nice to see you working the secondary markets. It's wonderful.
Secondary markets. That's right.
I thought this was the Great Canadian Gold Rush, but apparently not.
I was just looking at news of the day, and it said Kids in the Hall are back, and underneath it said, Bruce, it says Gene Simmonds says rock and roll is dead.
Right.
So that's your value now today. Right now today, Gene Simmonds, rock and roll is dead. Kids in the Hall are back.
Amazing. I will take 1 minute and tell my Gene Simmonds story that Scott has never heard.
Thank you.
When I was 16 years old, Reed Diamond and I, the original bass player from the Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet, went to see KITH play at a nurses' cabaret in Alberta, in Calgary. And we made fun of Gene Simmonds, and because they were really hokey, and they had like a little kiss that was about 2 feet tall. And when he did the blood pellet, and he went and the blood came out in his face, he came down with his big boots, and we were heckling him, and he said, "I'm gonna fucking kill you, kid. I'm gonna get you." And then, no lie, 35 years later, I'm at my house in Los Angeles. We have a long driveway on La Cuesta Drive. I look up at the head of the driveway, and there's Gene Simmonds getting out of a black Escalade. And I thought, okay, he's finally come to get me.
And where was he going?
I think he knew someone who was, he was renting a house across the street or something. It was hilarious to me.
That is pretty funny.
I will say from that awkward opening, Scott, that you can be the diva that you want to be. You can. Oh. We want that. We welcome it. We embrace it.
He can't not be.
No, and I have definitely said to someone who came up on stage, "I will kill you if you don't get off the stage." I definitely said, "I will fuck you up." Definitely said that.
Did Foley show up for the series?
Yeah, he was there. He was actually in good spirits. Wrote good material.
What about
But the funniest thing was, we went and we got our heads cast before the show, and it's like I'm getting what? My head cast. And that was, I wasn't reading the call sheet correctly. I should have said no. And I went there, and it's like, why are we getting our heads cast? He said, well, because Dave Foley thought it was a good idea. Is Dave getting his head cast? No, but you guys are. So I thought, again, revenge is a dish served cold.
He was working on a creative moment. That's all. That's
he was.
Okay, there was a reason for it, I'm sure. But no, he was great in the series, and he was. Is
he still alive?
He's still alive. You know what's weird? He actually on a Zoom we had recently used the word joy. I've never heard joy come out of his mouth. That was kind of wonderful.
Dave did?
Yeah.
He said joy?
Yeah, we were talking about if we should possibly do a second season. He said, I just want to do things that give me joy. It's like, we don't use words like joy.
I'm confused. I might need to make another entrance after that one. Joy. Oh my God!
Speaking of
Wow,
joy,
did he call things? Did he call pain a gift? He didn't say that, did he?
is Kevin with us still?
Yeah,
He's also
yeah.
still alive.
Well,
Yeah.
he's in Winnipeg. He was actually in Florida doing Shakespeare outdoors.
Mhm. Yes.
Which seems like a Willie Loman punchline, but he's with us, and he's happy, excited, and feeling joy as well.
Yeah, joy.
Scott,
And he thinks of it as a gift. This is a gift. Kevin keeps saying this is a gift.
let's see if I can draw Scott into the conversation. Is this a reunion or what is it? What do you call it?
Season 6.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have other questions. Like, Scott, stay with us.
He's dealing
Yeah.
with his cat or his boyfriend.
I'm dealing with my cats.
Yeah.
Did COVID change funny?
No, nothing can change funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Scott
Well,
had a good point when we were
what-
talking before, though. For us, it kind of, when we were doing the show, like we were luckily together when we started writing the show, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And then, so when COVID hit, and then we were on Zoom for a while, we had been together, so we were in a really good rhythm. But Scott had pointed out that, like, when we got there and we were finally filming, and all these people are over there, like sort of astronauts with their stuff on or whatever, we were closer because it was just us in this weird, just this weird bubble, and it kind of made us closer as we were filming in some weird way.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Because we were like us against the world. It was very much the whole COVID experience. I mean, it's difficult, and I would never want to do it again, like through that. But it does kind of sharpen you, because you become it became, our little world was just the 5 of us, and surrounded by astronauts,
And also,
trying to breathe.
not to be too weird or something, but I think COVID made us wanting to work and do what we do even more necessary. Like, to be able to be silly, and we have a scene where I drive an easy chair down the street at 30 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And just the sheer weird joy of being able to do that after the catastrophe that COVID's been for each and every person, felt pretty good.
You know what? I got to tell you right now, as good as that chair scene was, Big Brown or Mr. Brown, whatever you call it, and you erased, Scott's hair flat out should get an Oscar. Scott's hair was the best hair I've ever seen him wear.
Yeah. Yeah. My hair makes an appearance, and
Dude.
everything I did, that my hair steals the show, I think.
Yeah, I think your hair should win a GLAAD award, Scott, that you finally get the recognition
Finally.
that you never had.
Well, I will disagree with one thing. Funny has changed over the years. It ain't vaudeville, and it's not Wayne and Schuster on the Sullivan Show. You take us completely different funny. It's not set up punch, set up punch, set up punch. It's not. And in fact, you might wait a minute before you get to funny
Mm-hmm.
to figure out what the hell you're doing and where you are and who these people are.
Yeah, and I think, certainly Mark always says, I'm a character guy. Scott says he's a character guy. I go, okay, here's the premise. They're 60 and on the pole, and the jokes come out pretty quickly. But sometimes, we do things, even some of our beloved stuff, My Pan, or whatever, there's no jokes in it.
No jokes.
And we will wait. And I think that's mostly really great with this series, is that it seems like we're not afraid to take our time, and just keep going. And I think that's one of the things that we have a kind of an old man's confidence to do that.
I was thinking about your audience. Scotty, by the way, Scott, I need to ask you, how's your health?
Oh, my health is great. The cat came in perfect timing. Yeah. My health is great. Yeah.
I think your cat just stepped on. There you go.
There you go.
By the way, if we're going to introduce the cat, what's the cat's name?
This is Rusty.
Rusty. Okay.
Yeah.
And you guys do a twin cat scene.
Oh, yeah. I love that scene. The cat's got the gun. Yeah, that's a really funny scene.
Yeah, it's a scene about Kevin wrote about a guy who gets a cat and the cat tries to kill him. It's actually pretty simple, but it's quite
It
funny.
is.
Yeah.
but it's really funny. I love that scene.
I was thinking about the 30 years. You realize I don't have time for answers, only questions.
Yep.
89 to 95. It was just a blur. I wonder that audience, are you meeting your audience again? And can you bring a new generation to this? Do we know that? Can you feel that? What do you think?
It feels like we're going to be able to.
Yeah.
It feels like it, but maybe I'm in the delusional phase. But it feels like we're bringing our old audience. We're showing them, we're updating it, and we're bringing a whole new crowd. I think that's going to happen. I do.
Yeah, well, I think that seems like an Amazon talking point, Scott. I think we have no idea. We have no idea. I can tell just by being stopped on the street, or when I post 2 Kathy mugs and I get 400,000 views. Like, I think people are excited. I don't know if the young generation. Yeah, I mean, my son is 15 and he likes us, because weird ideas have no age. So I think weird ideas will hit, and people will embrace them regardless of our external age. Our ideas are still young, because comedy is always young, I think, in some way, or ours is.
I think we're going to find out, definitely there's been an awful lot of talk about comedy, everybody being ultra sensitive now. I think we're going to find that there's some things that we do that will piss some people off. And I'm certain that will happen. And I bet we don't even know what they are yet.
But back in the 90s,
I don't think we even know.
Did you have the same feeling in the 90s? Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. It came from a different directions, but it was still, there's always a certain percentage of the population, regardless if on the right or the left or the center, or wherever they are, there's a certain percentage of people that they're wired for outrage. And so I absolutely think that's going to happen. Absolutely.
Well,
there's a lot of finger pointing these days, isn't there? Yeah. And of course, there's TikTok, which I've never seen. I'm not going to go there.
There's what?
Yeah, that's not Game of Thrones, Terry. That's a different thing that you haven't seen.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones either.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm kind of busy. And actually, what I can do is I can see sports, and that's it. I can work and watch sports at the same time. I have to actually make a date with you guys to watch all of these clips.
Well, you've got all the animals in the barn. You got to muck out the stalls. You got to bring in the hay. You got to bring in crops. You got a lot to do.
Not like that.
You're a gentleman farmer.
Thank you for bringing Buddy back. Thank you. Was there a pact saying we're not going to bring any of the characters back, or if you're going to bring somebody back, it has to be a democratic bring Buddy back kind of thing? Well, how'd it work?
Well, no, I would never, because me, I was from the very beginning. I was like, I'm bringing my characters back. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, well, and it's funny with Scott, when we would go on tour, he would always go, I'm not doing Buddy Call. I'm not doing Buddy Call. I know you guys need me to do Buddy Call. I'm not doing Buddy Call. We say, okay, great, Scott. And then tour would get close, and I go, I know you're begging me to do Buddy Call. It's like, no, we don't have to. And then finally, okay, fine, I'm doing Buddy Call. And so Scott kind of has a love-hate relationship with that character, but he says so much that Scott feels that it just has to come out,
Yeah.
Did Buddy's hair change?
No.
Is that the same?
Exactly the same. It might be a little higher.
Well, no, the truth is,
probably, what it is better gel.
Scott, after he got cancer, he got, he kicked cancer's bum, and then he got a better head of hair, which isn't a reason to get cancer, but it's a nice kind of bonus.
Yeah, it's weird. My hair came in thicker than it ever was, and different color. When it first came in, it was all million colors. It was black, it was brown, it was gold, it was red. It was pretty cool.
Well, no, Scott. It was cancer colored at first, and then it turned into the color of the hair.
Cancer color is and that is the color of a bathtub that's had 5 children use the same water. That is cancer color, and that's my family. We would do that. My mother would date us 2 at a time, but she would not change the water. There's no question.
I do a show called Tasting Room Radio, and I started it in the Okanagan when I was living up there, and I realized that there was no wine show on radio, and I thought that was stupid. So I just started it. That's 15 years ago. And so I also interview chefs, and so the pie and the tart sketch killed me. I'm laughing at 3 o'clock in the morning into my pillow. It is beautiful because it exists. It's absolutely true. Who wrote it? How did it come up?
Well, that's a group scene. I mean, that idea came from me, but then everybody wrote that scene. But the characters come from a Mark scene from years ago. And I love those scenes. I love that. That's one of the things we're most proud of. But that scene is, I think it's one reason it's so good in the show is because we did that on stage for quite a while.
Okay, yeah.
So it was really worked.
But Mark, I think Mark was the center of that scene because all of us would be the foodie or the guy who like would check out menus before before he went. We were once in a restaurant and sent over a bottle of wine by the owner that Mark tasted and sent back, which I thought, oh my God, you've got some brass ones there, son. You drink it, that swill, it's like, no, not for us. What, do you want something more expensive, sir? So that is us, but I think that's Mark's world more than anything.
Oh, that is absolutely Mark. Yeah. I mean, Mark drives that scene.
KITH and KITH, the last fan.
Oh, yeah, that was a hard one to get in. We had a couple of scenes that we wrote before that didn't get accepted, but we finally landed on the last fax, which is interesting because I just heard a report on the radio the other day, which was about faxes and how the medical establishment still depends on them.
And the legal has
and
to
legal. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, I had heard that the faxes, Ontario government was stopping to use the faxes, and I thought that was a great one for us. And I with KITH and KITH, I like that we talked about some other stuff where Scott's Kathy ran the company and stuff, and it's like, nah, we're still in the same place. We're still taking our shoes out of the plastic bag in the morning, and have the same coffee cups. Yeah, we're still.
That's right, because we did have one where my Kathy had gone ahead of Bruce's Kathy, and I was the head of HR, and then she got dragged up in an HR scandal. And I hope that we get to do it if we get a second season. But yeah, in a weird way, it made sense for them to have not gone too far.
Yeah.
I don't know. And then when you wrap production, did the slap happen after production finished?
Yes, long after. Yeah.
Would it have had an effect? Would you have found a scene somewhere?
Well, it would have given me permission to slap Scott Thompson in a way I really wanted to. No, I don't think that would have an effect on us. We'd talk about it like everyone else, like, wow, what's happening in this world? But no, I think we would just have something to talk about. Or so Kevin and Dave would have something to talk about that wasn't goddamn hockey,
What did Lorne Michaels bring? I mean, I go back with Lorne Michaels to that whole terrific hour, that whole thing that he did way back when he was trying to have comedy liftoff in Toronto, CBC. And
they show in the doc too, which is cool. Yeah.
In the doc. Absolutely. We'll get to the doc. Absolutely. So what did he bring? How did he affect the final product? Other than money.
Yeah, well, he gives us he always gives us space. It's the opposite. Having worked at Saturday Night Live, he's all over everything and says, I'll take 40 seconds out of that scene. He didn't do that. He always, for us, knew that he needed to book the studio time so we could go in and jam. And so that's what he's always done for us. And so he helped just set it up and protect us and make sure we were okay,
sure.
Which is what he's always done. And he knew that we were 5 ferocious beasts that didn't need a very specific thing from him other than kind of nurturing.
Yeah, he let us play, and he and he would occasionally come in when it was needed, like in the documentary when we talk about the first taping of the pilot and Lorne carving us all, a new asshole in between the two shows. That was very needed. He needed to pull out that angry coach and basically shame us. But that did not happen very often. But that was one where Lorne just said, no, they need to understand what's important and what they need to do. And I'm eternally grateful for that. But his real brilliance with us is to let us play, to trust. He trusted us.
How did you like the rollout of Schitt's Creek and its effect?
Well, I had done another show, Young Drunk Punk, at the same time.
Sure.
And I remember like I was going to my one radio interview that I got for that one and just seeing billboards everywhere and bus things everywhere and going, oh, I guess that show's going to do a bit better than my show. But, it was a weird show. I directed one season of that show, season 4, but it's like, it took forever to kind of hit in the States. And I do feel like it was almost like a COVID thing. There's something comforting about it. And it may have exploded just before COVID. I may be wrong in terms of my timeline, but I do think that there was, all of a sudden, it was this odd tipping point where, my managers are going, wow, you did Schitt's Creek, Bruce. That's a big thing. It's like, yeah, I told you that I was doing it about a year ago. So it's odd how it exploded late. It's like a bomb that exploded late, I think.
Did it?
Yeah, I think it was kind of like Ted Lasso too. The two of them, they were two funny comedies, but they had this heart that people seemed to need at the time. And I think that's why it exploded late, which is interesting because they exploded and then they left. It's weird.
So then stay with us, Scott. What does, what do kids bring? What are they bringing? Are they bringing heart? Are they bringing?
Oh, no.
Funny. Hope? Are they bringing hope?
I think so. I mean, I think the fact that we're still out there is the thing, that I'm still doing Gavin and I'm still trying to write Gavin jokes, and we're still at it. I think that's the important part. I always, think we're analogous with blues musicians who, there can be 100 people there, 1,000 people there. We're just going to play. And so I think the fact that we're still alive, as we all are still alive after this, is the thing. Yeah.
Scott, do you feel alive? You're frozen. You're frozen.
So I guess that is hope, isn't it? I guess it is hope.
You froze there for
Bruce
a second.
is frozen.
I'm not frozen. You're frozen.
No, you're frozen. You're frozen.
There he is. He's unfrozen.
And you're cold.
Yeah, cool.
Get
down.
Don't worry, David. I can edit that out when I edit this, like I always edit all your things.
The documentary. Long time. I mean, there's lots of footage, obviously. Did you have any say in the final cut, or did it just show up as your documentary?
Well, they sent it to us at first, and then I saw I sent to the director and I said, I have no notes, and he said, wow, you loved the documentary. That's so great. I said, no, I didn't watch the documentary. I just have no notes. Meaning it was something that Mark's brother and Reg, who's a really great guy and a great documentarian, it's their thing, go do it. And so, I'd cut a couple minutes out after having seen it twice, but
there's a few things like that.
But it was something for them to go do because we didn't want a vanity project in any way. So it's sort of warts and all. Gary Campbell stopped by for a drink, Scott, after the documentary last night.
Did he like it?
Yeah, he did. But it's like, yeah, you guys can actually be even meaner than that. It's like, yeah, of course we can. But we didn't have we could have had say, but I don't think we wanted say.
Yeah, like I watched when they first showed me the first draft, the first cut. I watched it up until it got a little heavy, and then I couldn't watch it anymore. And I said, I'm going to watch it in the theater with the 5 of us. And so that's what I did as well. I went, nah, I don't want to watch this stuff right now. But I'm very pleased. I was very happy. I didn't see it really until Texas when we watched it at South by Southwest. But no.
Guys, considering the whole Rivoli beginnings, even before that, the fact that you found each other is just phenomenal.
It is.
It's totally luck of the draw.
It's absolute luck. Yeah.
And I think also because, young men are so arrogant, or they don't even understand and process their lives as they move through them. I think our importance to each other has really taken years and years, and as the doc says, I first understood it after Saturday Night Live because I'd sort of failed there and I didn't get along with these great comic minds. And it was like, oh no, these are my 4 wives. And, but it is a miracle we found each other. And we sort of talked, the documentary does that. I don't think it would have worked without one of us,
No, absolutely.
I will offer a $20 Canadian bill to the first performer, Kids in the Hall, that somehow gets my name into a script. If you could, just as a reference point, being
absolutely
an icon. Thank you. $20.
Yeah,
okay.
I've written it in many times, and it's like, mean old bastard, Terry David Mulligan.
Yeah,
And people just say, we're not going to buy that from him. He's a nice guy.
Apparently, I have to wrap this up. Here's the thing. I need a message from the both of you for the youth of Canada, please.
Keep going. It's going to be fine. I have teenage kids. It's hard to find your place, but
Yeah.
you don't have to do it in a hurry.
Yeah, like your youthful figure might fall, but your youthful mind doesn't have to.
God bless you.
Does that make sense?
Jimmy Durante, wave as you go, Dave, or Bruce. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry. Nice to see you.